Mm. Mm. What is going on, y'all? It is Bid Jerigo here, and I just wanted to come on here and say thank you guys. We are at 595 subs. It's been 2 weeks since I've uploaded, and the subs have been kind of still coming in passively. Granted, I have uploaded like pretty decent videos, in a pretty short span, but I haven't uploaded for like 2 weeks, and I'm still seeing the subs come up. So I'm very thankful, guys. Thank you guys so much. And I wanted to make a quick video on this Palmetto State dagger that I have, and just to show you guys, yes, we are in fact clear. If you look down the chamber, nothing in the gun. And also empty Glock mag. That was mainly for all the internet RSOs that think I'm not super safe with handling firearms when they don't realize that before I even begin recording, I ensure that every weapon is clear. But this is my Palmetto State dagger. We have a JTS Prince magwell on the compact frame in FDE. We got an FDE Glock OEM mag, a Swamp Fox slide, and the main thing that I wanted to talk about is this bad boy on the end right here. So this is a compensator. It has 5 ports, one really large one at the top end there, and this comp I had gotten off of eBay for mad cheap. I'll put the price up top. I don't remember exactly. I believe it was in the realm of 20 bucks. So it is a very much a budget option compensator when we get into purchasing comps or trying to trick out our guns. We can spend $70 to $100 to even $200 on something like a Radian Ramjet or a Harrington Arms comp. I believe costs around 70 bucks. Now, I just really wanted to see if this thing actually worked or did what its intended purpose is, considering that when I purchased it is off some random seller off eBay, and this is mad cheap. Granted, when it got to me, it did come with 4 screw holes here, and that will hold the comp in place, and then the comp itself goes on a direct thread. So you're going to want to tighten up 4 different holes once you have the comp around your barrel here. Once it's fully screwed on, then you're going to tighten all 4 of those screws. Now, when I did do the test, I used, I believe, just some red Loctite, and that has kept the comp pretty secure, so I can slam the slide. You see what I'm saying? There's no movement there, okay? In my testing, me and the wife did go out to the range and shot this bad boy quite a few times. I am just trying to see if I can get a cheap optic on the end. We have a flared magwell and a compensator, and those are all the key factors that you would want in something like a Gucci Glock, and I wanted to see if I can make a build that is as cheap as possible. But for now, we're just going to review this compensator. Now, when we went out to the range, we did shoot it quite a bunch. We did shoot it quite a bit. I believe I purchased around 450 rounds, and we had just ran it through the ringer. And I cleaned it up now, but by the end of that range trip, the compensator was fucking dirt black, full of carbon. And yeah, I just thought I'd take a look and see what does the Palmetto State dagger feel like in someone like my wife's hands without a comp versus with a comp, and see if I could get some recorded footage just to see how well a compensator does affect recoil. As we continued our testing, I did manage to, near the end of our range trip, get full mag cycling successfully, no issues. I also wanted to get into whether or not having something like a compensator is worth it. I would not recommend compensating your gun for if you were going to do an everyday carry. It's still more prone to jamming and things like that, unless you have the science down and maybe you do know exactly what recoil spring works. But at least when I ran a comp on this gun, granted I did not change out the recoil spring, it ran into a lot of cycling issues in the beginning, but as we shot and shot and shot, it eventually did start to fix itself in a way. I still need to run more rounds through it just so that way I can be absolutely sure that this thing runs reliably. But at the end of the day, this handgun is more or less just kind of a range toy. I just wanted to see whether or not, I'm just testing whether or not these products work. work on your grip strength and things like that, and be able to mitigate a lot of the recoil with your grip. But let's say that you're a new shooter, and even handling a weapon like a handgun in the first place is pretty difficult for you. I think the value for a compensator comes with the fact that that 20 to 15% increase in recoil mitigation or reduction is enough for somebody to acquire their target faster. And that's even though it is a small percentage, it is large depending on the person. So recoil always is so much that it swings your hand up and down. And as you can see in some of the footage, that is what is going on here with my wife's hand. However, after installing the compensator, you can see a very huge marginal difference in target acquisition as far as that reset once it goes up and then back down. I have some footage here kind of showcasing that, and that is like insanely valuable. I think that for a specific person, a comp is almost necessary. But like I said, if you have a decent grip on a regular handgun, completely stock, you shouldn't have so many problems with recoil. However, a compensator does definitely help. Now, taking a look here on the front end, what you get is this thing is completely metal. It weighs a good chunk, and installing it was a little bit of a pain. Like, it was just a matter of me testing how much Loctite do I got to put on this thing so that way it doesn't twist. As we shot multiple rounds through it, it did end up coming loose a bit. However, once I got the appropriate amount of Loctite in there, it is not going anywhere. I really do like the look of this. This thing looks pretty fucking sick. With all the testing that we did, I really do notice a difference. This thing was shooting a lot flatter, and it did what it was intended to do for a surprisingly low price. We're talking about, in today's day and age, $19 or 20 bucks. That's a meal. You know what I mean? These days, you know, if you're going out fast food buying, or, you know, trying to get you some grub, you can buy yourself a fucking compensator off eBay. And I'd say it was a pretty good investment. Like I said, they come in many different colors, at least from the seller that I purchased them from. They also do single port comps. I just thought this one would look cooler with the gold barrel that I do have in here. But yeah, it definitely served its purpose, and it did it pretty well. And I got a lot of good things to say about it. I mean, there's a similar seller that sells a single port comp very similar to the Harrington Arms one that you would get for a Glock 19 or a PSA dagger, and I'm kind of more looking at that one. I'll probably do a review of that sometime in the future, just to see how that runs and whether or not it's trash or, you know, goated. When you look at a compensator's design, all it's doing is it's a metal extension to your barrel that has cuts in it to divert gases, and that's not extremely hard to do with most comps. And to be paying an insane amount, Radiant Ramjet, you know, is absolutely ridiculous. Definitely keep in mind everything else though. If you're getting into purchasing a compensator, reliability, that's going out the window. Unless, you know, you do the science, you do the math, and you really sit down with yourself and try out different recoil springs, then it can definitely be reliable. But for someone like me, I did not do that. But overall, it's really good. Just a really amazing profile. Like, check that thing out, man. That is pretty dope. And it makes a gun that I originally bought, I believe, the frame separate. The frame was like 50 bucks. Swamp Fox slide was like $200. So this is a $250 handgun. And then I threw a $19 comp on it, and then a JTS printed magwell. Okay, so this gun has a lot of features that, you know, more expensive guns would have. You got your RMR cut for way cheaper, and I just want to kind of make this video to show that, hey, there's other options out there when it comes to running things that don't suck. They do run, you know, at the end of the day, and you don't have to spend an insane amount of money, especially for aftermarket parts. Like, you got to keep in mind, if you were fishy on it, on buying a comp in general, like, you're already purchasing a third-party product. Might as well give something from eBay a shot. But hey, that is just my take on it. I am a poor guy after all. You don't have to take what I say. What I say is not absolute end-all be-all. My opinion should be a grain of salt to you, unless you really fuck with me. then that's really cool. I appreciate your consideration of my opinion, but take my opinions definitely with a grain of salt. There is nothing that I say that is absolute by any means. I am just a broke guy making it work with budget firearms. So that's gonna do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of this $19 eBay compensator. If you wanted to see more videos in the budget space for firearms, I'm willing to test anything out. And yeah, I'm out here for y'all. I'm going to see what is shit and what isn't shit on a budget. And if you guys enjoy content like that, definitely interact with the video. It would help me out a bunch. Thank you. With all that being said though, my Instagram handle is going to be somewhere on the screen. Feel free to follow me on there, stalk me on Instagram if you would like to. You don't have to. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Have a good one.